Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Wednesday night edition as we continue on Inside the Headset. Going to roll out to the community of Rockvale. And going to talk to my good buddy, the head coach of the Rockvale Rockets. And we all know that 2 weeks ago, or about, I guess, what was it, Coach? About, I don't know, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, about this time, you found out that your season ended. And we were headed your way, but after you got the news, I guess it was on a Thursday before you were to play the Cookville game.
Uh-huh.
It was, Coach said that he got the message at about 2 o'clock, thought you were going to play, and you said you were still trying to get things together. But take me through that moment. Did you know, did your kids test positive on that Monday, or were you were waiting test, or where were you at that point once you found out that it was going to take it away from you?
Well, we were just kind of waiting on test, Stork. It's just, and a couple of my coaches, got it. And so, it just kind of hit us all at once what it did. I mean, it kind of blindsided us in some ways, because we were doing, as far as cases or kids going home sick, we really didn't have any. And then all of a sudden, I told somebody, Stork, that when we went home for when fall break come around,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my biggest fear. I told somebody, I said, I'm hoping that this does not just go nuts. About the second week after fall break, and sure enough, that's when it hit. And so, it is what it is, and the safety of the student athletes is most important, and the coaches and the schools. So, we did the right thing, and shutting her down for the year. Very disappointed that we had to do that, but it was the right decision.
Well, and not to be mean, but we have to think of the safety of others, and now of course Rockvale is completely shut down, and
Yes,
and I don't want you to speak for Mr. Luker or anything.
No.
At that, I don't want to even talk about that situation. We're not neither one of us are spokespeople at any point on that subject.
Yes,
But the situation being, right now, at least the only thing, your season is over. However, you try to plan some type of banquet to try to, honor those kids, or whatever takes place later on, or whatever goes down, or anything. But in speaking about trying to get ready for the next season or whatever, and so many different things taken away from you, at least now this is the rules and this is what the cards have been dealt. So at least you can try to work some type of training program that fits their schedule, and say, even though you're on your own, kid, you're going to have to do this for, at least what you got.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Stork, it is what it is. And the I guess the self-discipline of a kid really comes into play in something like this. And it did this past spring, when we quit going to school in March, and when they would have spring practice, and you're giving kids, workouts to do over Zoom. And it's it's kind of become the norm what it's come, Stork, which is kind of sad, but it's come the norm. And the kids are just going to have to make up their minds, to do the work themselves if they can't be around as coaches, or be around the school, or even be in a weight room. So, they're going to have to make their minds up to whether or not they're going to, make them, bigger, faster, and stronger. So, but we'll have a plan out there for them, and it'll be a really great plan we'll have for them. And, it all comes down to the student athlete, whether or not they want to put the time in to do it.
Well, and it sounds wild trying to do all this and trying to get a kid trained up to play football from a distance and doing this. But I can remember I was on campus at University of Tennessee with a coach, and we were walking around, and one of the kids said, Coach Ab, I am lifting every day. And Coach Ab mentioned to him, said, you don't have to tell me you're lifting. You do not have to tell me you're lifting weights.
Exactly.
We will know this fall. You know what we'll say?
Yeah.
We'll say, man, Johnny just made a heck of a hit, and he knocked somebody cuckoo. He must have been lifting weights back in January.
Yeah.
But if Johnny's laying on the ground looking up at the moon, then we're going to say, you know what? I don't believe Johnny was lifting weights in January. We're going to know it. So, I mean, it sounds
That's true.
it sounds stupid, but who does the work when the door's closed and it's real quiet? We'll know it when showtime comes, and it's hard to explain to kids that the time in the fall is when the lights come up in the stage. All the work you have already got to do it. You don't do work in the fall. You have fun in the fall. It's hard to explain that to a kid, isn't it?
It is, and the self discipline. I keep using the word self discipline for a kid, and that's what it is. But you make yourself a really, really good ball player, and I'm just not talking physically, Stork, but from a mental standpoint, when you're doing those things when no one else is watching. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so that's the mindset that a kid has got to develop, and that's not easy to do. Especially this day and time, they got every other distraction in the world to worry about. So, but if you can get a group of kids to buy into that and do those things and work their butts off while nobody else is watching, I can promise you, Stork, I can promise you that you're going to have a great chance of going deep in the playoffs, and you're going to probably win a region championship. I'm a firm believer in that. I truly am, and I don't care who you're up against. So, but it all goes back to that kid, whether or not they want to do that, and instead of having somebody be over them, telling them what to do and yelling at them, and to get them motivated. So, and that part of it right there is probably more so now than ever, because of all the things kids got to do now. I don't even go into the technology. I think the technology is kind of a bad thing at times. But anyway, I'm just an old school guy.
Well, and speaking of that, I just got off the phone with Coach Hartsfield, and he's got me hogtied going to Cookeville Friday. So anyway, do the broadcast. But anyway, of the game. But his team peaked really, really late, and out of all the teams we see, it just took so long for him to get going. Boy, it really hurt him though that 6 weeks prior to the season starting, just like it did you, didn't it?
Yeah. And thing with him, Stork, my goodness, he was facing Alcoa, he was facing Ravenwood, he was facing Independence. I mean, there's those teams are no slouches, man.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, his schedule was murderous, and I knew he had some injuries too, and I'm pretty sure he had to deal with some COVID stuff, with some of his kids, and but I mean, they're peaking at the right time, and this is the time you want to peak. You might not have a winning record, but you got a great shot of getting to the playoffs and maybe going to second or third round.
And he's got a quarterback. He's got a quarterback that can snap it off, and he can snap it right down the field easy.
Yeah, good kid. I like that kid a bunch. When we were playing him 2 weeks ago, I just kind of sit on the sideline and just kind of watched him, and just kind of watch his feet and and how he carries himself and how he throws the ball after delivery and just things like that. Just that's what I'm used to seeing with when I played with my three boys. So, but yeah, I like that young man a whole lot, and if he chooses to go play football somewhere, he'll be a success.
He's going to play baseball. He's already got a scholarship. He's headed out the door.
He's a baseball guy, but he can do the other too. I truly believe that.
So. Well, Coach, you kind of know, so they're going to let you know here real soon. Of course, you're going to end up staying down here with us. They're not going to let you out of that. I saw somebody say that they're going to push you down there to Smyrna and Stewart's Creek and down to that region, and I said, boy, I bet you Coach Rice don't be drawing that one up. Coach Rice be clapping to be with Smyrna, Laverne, and Stewart's Creek. He'd be saying, yeah, I'll take that all day long. Yeah, move me down there. I guarantee
it. Smyrna and Stewart's Creek ain't nothing to.
No, and neither is Laverne. But I tell you one thing,
man, those teams there, man, they're shoot, man, they're good football teams. And, I don't know what they're going to do at the region, Stork. You know more than I do about it. Seriously.
Now, listen, I don't. But I will say this. You are going to be a little bit more selective with your non-region games, aren't you?
Yeah. yeah, and I'll have a little bit of say-so on it this time, okay?
You daggone right. I mean, yeah. You'll be the one. You'll be the one making the phone calls on those non-region games. Yeah. I guarantee it. And it needs to happen. And I don't mean that mean, but It needs to happen. Coach Rice, I definitely have enjoyed you all season long, and and Mr. Luker, and we will be back out next year and everything. May come out and do a basketball game. I'd have to talk to Luker about it, but anyway, we appreciate you, and as always, and appreciate your school and your support.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you so much for coming out this year. And, folks, I always look forward to y'all coming out and videoing the game, doing the game. You do such a good job. I mean that. The quality of your work is really good, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
See you. Bye.